That is so interesting. Now, do you remember on that tour? I mean, this is sort of a. I mean, I might be asking you to jog your memory too much, but do you remember if you guys played "You Laugh," a Thought Crusade, like, or was it a mix of them?
It was a mix. We played all sorts of No for an Answer stuff from the records, and then we did Carrie Nation stuff as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I want to say that I had heard that. I heard, but no, that's. I mean, it makes sense. If Dan and Gavin are going to be on stage together, why not have
Why
them?
not? Why not? And people, especially in the early '90s, I don't know how it is anymore, but in the '90s, like hardcore in Europe was massive, and bands were going over there and just playing to ginormous crowds. I mean, I think our average crowd was like 300 to 500 people. One night we played to, I think, well over 1,000 people, and that was a trip.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you like? Do you regret at all that Triggerman never went on tour?
Yeah, because I had the opportunity. I wasn't like nailed down to one like career job. I had a job and I was working full time, but it was one of those things where my boss was like, okay, be the same guy I was working for when I went on tour with No for an Answer. He was cool with it, and there was no problem. So the opportunity was right, and it just didn't happen. I think we did plan a whole tour, and I should have got the T-shirt out. I got the T-shirt in the garage. We'd made T-shirts, tour shirts, and we played the first two shows somewhere in LA, I think, and then Salt Lake City or Tucson, one of the two, and then the rest of the gigs just said canceled, canceled, canceled.
I love Gavin. I love Gavin. I love his sense of humor.
Oh my goodness! If I used to have a scrapbook of all the flyers that he had made for Triggerman, and they were pretty freaking funny, man. He had a really wicked sense of humor when it came to that kind of stuff.
So now, between Triggerman, when Triggerman ended, I want to say in '95, and the Pollen Collective, had you been playing bass a lot, or was it? I mean,
No. I played a little bit, after Triggerman, just kind of by myself and did my thing, and then ended up just kind of putting it down. Had a kid, all that stuff, and then it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I really picked. Well, let me take that back. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago, Triggerman had gotten back together and was going to do some recording with Derek O'Brien. Playing drums, and so I was going through a divorce. I had a 3-year-old baby at home, and I just had a lot going on in my life. I didn't have time to devote to playing and practicing, and so I got the boot from the band, and then I just put the bass down again. And then John Maai, who was also in Triggerman, just at different times, had reached out to me and asked me to listen to some songs that he'd been kind of playing around with for 20 plus years. And I heard them and just thought, I'm not trying to be intrusive here, but if you want to start a band, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm in. And so we got together a few times and played, and we've been playing together now for about 3.5 years, and we just played our 160 something gig yesterday. It's been very good.
had you been familiar with Triggerman before you got in the band when John was the singer? Because as obviously know he's the original singer.
Yes. Not a whole lot. I had the demo tape. I think Gavin had given me the demo tape, and that was really the first that I'd really heard them. Because they weren't around very long with John playing. I don't know how long, but yeah, they didn't do a whole lot, or I didn't see them at any gigs.
What's the dog's name? Because I want to mention the dog in this. Like, I just want to mention him when I type up the thing about it.
I've got Bo and Willadine May, both German Shepherds.
Beau.
Yeah.
And then Willa, Willa.
Yeah, Willadene.
Dene. Okay. May. MA.
E.
Okay, but, you know, very, you
You gotta
know,
have a couple Southern names.
I'm telling you, they could go see the Pollen Collective, and they would have.
Well, Bo's been to see us before. When we have band practice over here, these dogs just love it. They lay on the couch, or if I'm playing my stand-up bass, I have some pictures of Bo laying at my feet underneath my bass. And
I think you posted something recently of like one of your pets just being like serenely happy.
yeah, that was Bo.
See, I pay attention.
Beast.
So now, is playing in Pollen Collective, is that at all similar to playing in Triggerman? I mean, aside from the fact that you're playing a bass, like, is it similar, different, a mix?
It's very different. The people that I play with are, you know, two of them are music teachers. That's what they do. And we have another guitar player who's just a master shredder. And these guys are like throwing notes and things out at me. And I'm like, circle of fists, what the hell? What is that? My brain immediately shuts off when they start like getting deep into the music nerdery.
Right.
And John and I, you know, we're learning every day that we go to practice, or every day we play with these people, we're learning new things. And it's been really cool. It's been really, really cool. I never thought I'd be playing a stand-up bass. I never thought I'd be using a bow, playing a stand-up bass, and, you know, creating music that people like.
Well, people like Triggerman. It was just a different kind of dynamic.
Let's put it this way: my parents never came to see me play with Triggerman.
Gotcha.
We play with the Pollen Collective a lot of times. So
that is a great thumbnail for the difference between the two bands.
Yeah.
You know, and I forgot to ask this. What was it like? I'm assuming it was probably great, but what was it like for you and Triggerman when Kevin and Popeye joined?
That was super rad. I've always, you know, loved Kevin and Popeye. They're just great guys. And when we, sorry,
they're awesome. No, I love it. Yes. Oh, look at them. Hey guys.
The madness that's ensuing. But no, dude, it was really cool. I was really stoked that they were willing to play with us. I mean, Farside was still playing; they were still doing that bit. And Farside's one of those bands. I mean, I still listen to Farside today. I love their music. I love what they did, and I love them as people. They're just amazing human beings. And so to be in a band with those guys was super cool. You know, Kevin always played that beat up yellow drum set. And I was just kind of always in awe of people like Kevin who can play the drums and play the guitar and sing and do all these things, and just these multi-talented people. And it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
I feel that way too about people like Kevin, like people that to me could literally play and then just create any style of music that they think in their head. Like I just have such a respect for that.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I don't know how many shows we played with them, but it was towards the end of Triggerman's life anyway. So, but you know, I've listened to the new stuff and it sounds cool. I'm stoked for them. But yeah, it was cool having Kevin and Popeye in the band.
My final question is, how did you go about getting into teaching? Because I don't know if you remember this, we took the Seabass at the same time.
Oh my God, dude, your memory. Holy shit.
Remember, we ran into each other, and at that time, you had almost done, I think, all 3 C sets at once, but you missed math by like a point. Yeah. I remember, like, I didn't understand that until I did the same thing.
Yeah, it was the English. I missed English by 2 points.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think I sat in that room for about 7 hours just writing and taking tests, and it was horrible. But to answer your question, I got into teaching. Eric Peterson, aka Ernst from Hard Stance, his son, you know, was playing soccer, and asked myself and another friend to help coach his kids' team. And I loved it. I loved being around the kids. They were just these little sponges that absorbed so much.
Was this around that same time? Were you younger? Were you when you did that?
This was right around 1999, I guess.
Okay. So it was in that pocket of time. I just didn't know if maybe you'd had like an experience earlier in your life that you always sort of kept in the back of your mind, like that was a great experience. I need to do that again.
No. I was working for Pepsi Cola at the time. I was a sales representative. I was making really good money.
You met Sugar Ray Leonard doing that.
I did meet Sugar Ray Leonard, and it was a Hughes in Dana Point. Pepsi, can you hand me that Diet Pepsi? It's real soft voice. I turned around, I'm like, no way. But yeah, so it was through Ernst that I kind of really developed a love for being around children and kids. And took a job as a custodian to make sure that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be around kids. I wanted to be in an educational environment. And here I am coming up on my 22nd year of teaching and working in schools and stuff. So
I didn't know you'd been doing it that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got in right after we saw each other then, like 1990. Yeah. Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy what I do. It's hard living in Orange County, being a teacher, especially South Orange County, where things are so freaking expensive, rent and all of that. It's nuts, but it's worth it. I made some friends with my students. I made friends with their families. It's been really cool.